All right, everyone. So there's a new mode that's in WWE 2K25 called the Island Mode. And this is from Inside the Ropes Wrestling. WWE 2K25 has launched the brand new The Island Mode with the March 7th early access on the March 14th release date coming closer. Fans now have been given a closer look toward WWE 2K25, the Island Mode exclusive to PS5 and Xbox consoles. So I'm going to stop right here for 1 second. If you have it on PC, which is what we're going to be playing it on, you don't actually get this mode. The mode has been suggested as a brand new way to experience the upcoming WWE 2K game. In a recent video uploaded by the game's social media handle, wise man Paul Heyman can be seen elaborating on the mode's features and details. In this latest island mode, players can explore the themed districts, compete against other players, and take on exciting quests to win the favor of our tribal chief, Roman Reigns. In the island, players can explore four unique WWE themed districts, each with its distinctive atmosphere, challenges, and way to explore. One of the first districts is Hero HQ. The Hero HQ is a bastion of wrestling virtue, constantly under siege by villains. The Arcade of Tomorrow, a tech focused haven for gaming and pop culture enthusiasts. The Temple of Ancestors, celebrating Lucha Libre's heritage and wrestling legends. And the Deadlands, where players will be able to take on challenges, quests, and even matchmake with other online players. It also introduces an extensive character creation system through the My Superstar Builder, where players can craft their in ring persona with unprecedented details. Numerous customization options affect not only the visual presentation, but also the in ring capabilities of your superstar. The customization process allows for the definition of various categories, gender, background, archetype, weight class, and additional options, each affecting your My Superstar's attributes, minimum and maximum, badge availability, and access to payback features. The game supports up to four different character saves, allowing for varied playstyles and experimentation. The player customization section also gives players access to multiple well known brands such as Nike, Jordan, WWE Shop, and others as in game gear. Participation in matches, quests, and challenges yields experience points and virtual currency, which players can then invest in attributes and badges. The story in this mode is driven by quests and is scattered throughout the game map. Five playable chapters comprise the exploration of the island, each incrementally revealing information about Roman Reigns' challenge and the island, while players attempt to satisfy the tribal chief. Each quest features extensive P versus E content designed to assemble and challenge players' abilities as they ascend the ranks. The island mode also features the game's multiplayer and online section, improving from last year's online mode. This year's is robust, supporting up to 50 players per server. Friends can join the same server and explore together and engage in real time competitions through matchmaking portals scattered throughout the districts. Each victory or defeat contributes to their standing in the community and progression in the game's five-chapter narrative. This mode will be available to access once the game launches on March 7th and is only available for new gen on PS5 and Xbox Series X. All right, so that's the whole article. Go check out this website. It's fantastic. Inside the Ropes Wrestling or itrwrestling.com. But here's the thing with this. Now, you read through this and there is some interesting parts of it, okay? And it's pretty cool, right? When you get okay, there you could make your own character, it's a PvE type deal and it's something fresh for a wrestling game. My problem is that it really scares me when you have a company like 2K who's doing the island mode. It feels like something where they're like, "Okay, we're going to try to creep in more of the stuff we've brought into the NBA games into this." And I just think people are going to start getting pissed at this because much like you've seen with Madden and with NBA, people get frustrated because this is a fine mode, right? It may end up being a very good mode, but it's not what people want from a wrestling game, you know? And so if you could deliver on everything in the wrestling game and you have the island mode, no problem. Have as many island modes as you want, as long as you could deliver on what the people actually want, which is all of that single player content, including the online portion, which is like character creation, community creations, and making sure you could still have your regular online matches. So I don't know what this is going to be. If this is going to be any good, I'm probably going to have to now buy this on the Xbox as well, so we could play both. But I'm going to see before I do any coverage of it if it's any good. And once again, not to sound like like an old guy or something, but even with NBA, I used to be a big time NBA 2K player, but to me the problem really came down to, for me, I loved my player mode, and I loved my player mode because it was simple and it was like you created a player, you go through the ranks, you upgrade your guy with the skill points you get, and then boom. By like you could I used to in like 2K10 and 2K11, 2K12, I would play like 3 or 4 seasons because and then they would add little bits like, "Oh, cool, you could say something at a press conference. You could do this, you could do that." Now you play my player and it's like you have to do all the things that you don't want to do in real life. Like you now have to you get an endorsement and you have to go film the commercial or something. Like that's what people in real life don't want to do. All they want to do is be playing basketball. They don't want to go do the endorsements. They want the money. And there's so many outside things that affect it with, now it's not really the skill points, right? Now you're using the VC to do stuff. And I haven't played the most recent one. I just know it's like that. I don't know what their currency is to upgrade. My guess is it's still VC, but it's annoying. And I hope they're not bringing that to WWE because I'll be honest with you, you saw what Call of Duty did with Warzone, and I thought this was brilliant. What Call of Duty did with Warzone is you have two separate games basically. So Warzone, which is the online component, or I mean I know there's also the regular online, but it's this newer version they have their own separate game for that, that it just exists. So if this island mode is something that they really are like, "Hey, we wanna do this long term," then separate it from the actual game and put it out on its own. But don't continue every year now to add more to the island mode within this game and take away stuff from the main game. We don't want that. The island mode is the secondary thing. That it's the secondary thing. What we want is to make sure that the My GM mode's good, the universe mode is good, that all the creative aspects of these WWE games are free. There should never be in any WWE game a single cent that has to be paid in game for you to create characters. If there's going to be paid stuff in the island mode, I don't care. None of it should be paid in the single player version because community creations is everything. And by the way, don't stick stuff in that mode that is also considered like, oh, we're gonna put something in the island mode here that you can't get in the actual game if it's cool. I mean, if it's just a shirt, I don't really care about it. But if it's something that's like you can't create one of the other wrestlers, like you can't create a legend for community creations unless you pay for it in the island mode, we don't want that. So, this is one of those things where I don't want to just prejudge it to be bad. It could be really fun, but it's one of those things that you have to make sure that you add this on top of a game that people already want. So if WWE 2K25 is the best game in the series or an improvement over 2K24, and you have the island mode attached that people like, no problem with it. And you could keep expanding the island mode as much as you want, as long as each game that comes after delivers on the main component of it, which is that normal game that we've had since the beginning of time for wrestling games. And this is a scary thing because I think 2K they stepped in it obviously in 2K20, but I love 2K24 and I think they've kind of dug themselves out of that hole and everything I've seen so far on 2K25 is good. It just scares me when you get these type of modes. But maybe this is a new mode that is just so amazing and people love it. And if that's the case, then look towards, kind of that Warzone method of, hey, we're going to keep this. It's almost separate from the game. You could keep playing this thing. We're not going to, and then we update it every 2, 3 years instead of updating it each year. I think that'd be pretty cool. So we're going to give it a chance. But if it stinks or if it starts taking over and becomes a microtransaction fest, that if it's a microtransaction fest on its own, I don't really care. If it affects the rest of the game, it's a major issue.